Hello, Jess Too Good here, and today I'm taking a look at the LEGO Alpha Team Ogel's Mountain Fortress set. This was from 2004 for a total of $70 and 431 pieces, and I think there's, 5 minifigures in this one. And now this is a sealed bag copy, but the box is still opened, and you can see all the pieces on the inside. I really want to highlight this big raised plate over here. Now this is going to be the base of the fortress, and LEGO doesn't really make these anymore, but it's like a base plate, and they have these raised areas that still have studs on them. So there's a lot of places to actually put LEGO bricks, and they even print over studs, which is something I don't see too often. But either way, without further ado, let's build this set up. Here's the set all built up. Now let's take a look at those minifigures. The first minifigure we'll take a look at is Ogel, because I want to start with the villains. This is the main villain to the Alpha Team. This version is exclusive because he has this translucent blue hook for a hand on his right hand. The design for that has never come in any other set. His breastplate as well as his visor on his helmet are also pretty iconic to the Ogel character. That's just attached to a regular LEGO minifigure helmet, and that piece is not used too often where you could open and close it. It goes flying out of my hand. And for this breastplate, the design of this, if you're not familiar with it, is actually a really cool piece. I know my mom used it to recreate that villain from the big Hidden Side Castle set recently. And then the set includes 2 identical Ogel minions. Now, only one of them has this translucent medium blue chainsaw. Love that coloring. It's the same color they use for the hook hand on Ogel. That has only appeared in this one set. Who knows if that was a reference to the translucent orange chainsaw from Ice Planet. But the design of this also has a new torso that they made just for the deep freeze line, as well as this translucent medium blue helmet right here, which appeared in a lot of these sets. Now, if you look underneath, it's just a regular, or not a regular, I guess it's the 2000s minifigure skull that looks a little bit more devilish. This next minifigure is Arrow. Now, this version of Arrow also comes in the mobile command center for Mission Deep Freeze. No back torso printing, but I do like his face print, which is pretty unique. It's very 2000s for LEGO, like 2000s action themes where they have these weird levels of detail, but in a way that makes it kind of nostalgic. I also like the torso and legs. And then there's Dash, who I always associated as the leader of the Alpha Team. This design only came in one other set as well for Mission Deep Freeze. His face print isn't anything too rare compared to Arrow's, because this was also used in themes like Mars Mission, but the torso and legs are the rare parts in that regard. So anyways, back to the build of the set. First, we'll take a look at the base and then some of those side builds. So for the build of the Mountain Fortress, from what I understand, this is a mining operation where the miners are actually bad for once. I know, LEGO kind of celebrates the miners of the world. Not that they shouldn't, but the design of this does have some very interesting parts to illustrate that mining operation, and also uses that really cool base plate to fit all the base on. So let's start at the front entrance. I have Ogel blocking the way, but there's a mechanism to open up these fiery gates. They use the Technic piece that looks like fire in black, which is kind of cool, but it involves the car included with this set, which again, we'll take a look at later. Basically, the car has one of these heavier missiles to fire. All you have to do to trigger that is just by pushing back on this Technic pin. You're supposed to aim it on this stickered piece right here, because as this gets pushed, the gates open. Let's try that out. Aw, man. This is quite fun, though. Okay, come on. This is a lot harder than I thought. All right, maybe I'll just kind of cheat a bit. Oh, that didn't work too well. Let me get it closer. All right, I've just come to the conclusion that it's not very easy to do, and it doesn't lift up all the way, unfortunately. So even with one good hit, that's about the best you'll get. Oh man, so still a good idea in theory, not the perfect execution, but with that out of the way, there's still some details to the side. So these sections use these small ugly rock pieces, as the community calls them, and in this medium blue coloring. This design only appeared in, I think, the Batcave and then some random Belleville set or something, so they're really rare in this color, and I always like those pieces. I know the big ugly rock pieces get some hate, and those are also in this set. Also really rare is this 8x8 translucent medium blue plate, which is really neat. These are supposed to be little cells to hold the Alpha Team, freezing them in ice. Now they don't cover anything underneath here, but they do rest on these 1x2 vent plates, as I like to call them, or vent tiles. The one on the opposite side, I have arrow being held. And this was also used in the Lego DC Superheroes Arctic Batman set, I think from 2013. Similar coloring for the small ugly rock pieces, but they didn't have this white finish to them. And the same feature was there where you could just kind of open it and remove the minifigure from being frozen. But anyways, moving on to the inside, this first level doesn't have any detailing to it. It's just a straight pathway through, so I guess you could have the Alpha Team vehicle go through this. But anyways, this second level has some details to it with a translucent medium blue antenna at the sides. This is the same build on both sides. This part right here is just a little platform that you can have minifigures stand. There's nothing on the inside of this hole. To the right over here, I believe it's a throne, but I might be a little bit wrong with that because it just is kind of a weird placement for the throne, and they have more chairs throughout this set. But I do like the use of the translucent medium blue little pole piece right here. You could remove Ogel from there pretty easily, just like that. And there's also a translucent red little window right here, and this translucent red magnifying glass. Now you'll see some translucent red pieces throughout the set because this is actually a play feature. It involves a certain headpiece back here, and you get a better look at that just by easily removing this whole platform. And that headpiece is included in just about all of the Arctic Alpha Team sets. Very interesting design, and it is incorporated with the translucent pieces because you could decode a message. But I also want to point out this 1x2 print on a tile. That is only included in one other set, but let's decode the message by putting it in this little research station. It's not the most revolutionary decoding, but putting it through a magnifying glass, you filter out a lot of these colors. And not much is seen there, but let's turn it around. Okay, so now we got a clearer look of that scorpion. I guess that glare might be getting in the way. Okay, that's a better look at it. Let's try that other side one more time, but yeah, that one doesn't really show too much. Interesting idea, but I just think the execution of these being in all the sets makes it all the less special. And let's put this back in that slot just by sliding it back in. Moving on to the third level, we'll start off with the crane at the back. Now this can rotate side to side because it's on one of those rotating 4x4 combination builds. And the design of this has different hinge connections so that you could adjust it not only at the base, but at the second part right here, this third part right here, and then right at the claw itself, which you can move up and down, and you could rotate around. Now these claws do not adjust, so it's kind of hard to pick stuff up. I mean, you can maybe pick up a minifigure like that, but it gets very loose very easily. And that's just kind of a simple build, but it still works for what it is in a mining operation. There's a seat to sit the minifigure down, controls to make it look like they're controlling the crane. These platforms or plates right here just serve as extra area to fit minifigures around the base, which I do appreciate. And there's also this removable platform right here, which has another detailing. This has a little seat where you could sit down a minifigure, a 1x2 print of a keyboard, and a 2x2 print, which only appeared in, I think, 2 other Alpha Team Arctic sets. Pretty interesting. Let's put that back into place, and then you'll notice these details right here, which I guess incorporate more into the front. So let's take a look at the front exterior of this build. And really the exterior of those higher levels just use a lot of big ugly rock pieces, which are these. The designs of these aren't in too many sets in this specific gray coloring. Other than that, those parts at the top serve as claws when you push them forward, which is kind of interesting. I guess in a way you could also shoot those with the car, so let me give it just one shot, one opportunity. Okay, yeah, it didn't work. But anyways, that is it for the build of the mountain base. Let's take a look at those side builds. The Alpha Team vehicle is pretty chunky in its design, but it does have some nice features to it beyond that missile launcher. Now, one thing that might have helped when I was shooting the base is that you could adjust this by just pushing this part backwards and make it into a little turret of its own. That's actually kind of a cool function. You can get a better positioning there. And also, this little piece for the frame is pretty interesting in a sand blue. That was used in some other Alpha Team sets, though. This windshield right here is a nice print that appears in some other Alpha Team sets as well. This red section can be used to decode those minifigure headpieces. And you can just kind of lift up the windshield there. You can fit one minifigure sitting down. Also, there's a 1x2 tile print that I think only appears in one other Alpha Team set. And this is the trigger to launch the missile. Oh, that just damaged my wall. Then there's this skeleton copter right here. The design of this I actually think looks kind of cool. I just wish this edge right here was a little bit rounder. But other than that, they do have a propeller. You could adjust that up if you'd like as well. And there's enough room for one minifigure sitting down. And there's even a little handle. I also like the two translucent medium blue chainsaws. It's just cool to get 3 in this set. Now the set also includes 2 of these ice orb pieces. This design does have 2 more of those minifigure head pieces that can be decoded underneath. But that's it for the builds of this set. Let's take a look at the packaging and the final verdict. The box for this bad boy is huge. It has that 2004 blue stripe to the left. Also a lenticular design. Seems to show the different positions of this base, which that's actually kind of a cool thing because there's a lot of times where I'm like, well, they should show the back of the set on the front as well, and this is an easy way to do that. YouTube commenters, forget pointing out mistakes in my video. Instead, please decode this binary code message right here, and the back of the box just shows all the different play features included within the set. For the instructions, the back has a win advertisement showing some classic sets like that Hogwarts Express I reviewed. Then there's a comic at the start, which is kind of cool. I always love these Lego comics. They don't have too much dialogue, which is probably for the best since this is probably the same all around the world. And that's it for the comic. And then at the end here, they have this big poster of all these first wave Arctic sets for Alpha Team. Not really interested in a lot of these, but I do kind of like this robot dude right here in the mobile command base. Oh, and then they show box pictures. This is actually more useful. So that's the mobile command center. Yeah, not really a fan of these, even looking at the boxes. There are 2 2005 ones, which look kind of bad, but also it's weird having that last wave for the theme like a year after. I always find last waves kind of interesting, so I might pick those up soon. And then right here is just kind of an ad for Alpha Team and how you could decode all of these. So let's decode some of this. Yeah, I'm full in instructions. Sue me. But, all right, yeah, this isn't really decoding anything too useful. But that's it for the instructions. So overall, the Ogel Mountain base isn't my favorite old playset out there. It is my favorite Arctic Alpha Team set, but that's not saying a lot because the other Arctic Alpha Team sets are really weak in my opinion. They all have these chunky vehicle feels, and even the vehicle in here feels chunky in a way. But it does have a pretty cool function to it. The build of this whole mountain base is pretty interesting. I like how it looks like a skull. I like how there's a lot of little places to explore. But even with little places to explore, there's not too much going on in the interior. It does feel vacant at points, and that might be attributed to its $70 price. This wasn't like the most expensive playset out there. Now, getting it secondhand, it is relatively cheap compared to other big sets of big old waves. I guess this just isn't too popular. But I think a lot of people should consider maybe getting this if they like older big sets. There's interesting pieces from the raised plate that's exclusive to a lot of the medium blue pieces, the minifigures, which are a pretty nice selection. So this does deserve a second look, and I'm glad that I gave this Arctic sub-theme another chance. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did any of you guys even grow up with this specific set? What are your favorite Arctic or even Alpha Team sets? Leave your thoughts there, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.